killing is a sin, we know that. However, a gold statue killing a person is not a sin. We also know that. Also, ripping open the gold statues, peeling their skin off, even though it gives them pain, that's not a sin. We know that. The implication is that only humans can commit sin, but only to other humans. Things that are not human, like statues, cannot commit sin, and yet wrongs committed against them is also not a sin. To sin is to human, and to human is to sin. And that means that Sonic the Hedgehog is beyond sin. Sonic the Hedgehog is faster than the judgment of God, and cannot be held to account, is the conclusion that I have come to. So I feel like we are the wrong protagonist for this adventure, even though we did choose the option that lets us move faster, but not as fast as Sonic, of course. We're going to continue.
Isn't the great temple majestic?
Right, I left off about to talk to you.
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
What's your story?
Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?"
I'm in a hurry here.
Oh, a hurry, you say? Well, in that case, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
How did you end up here? And don't, make sure you get to the part of how you ended up in the river.
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
A young woman named Karen dragged me out of a river, unconscious, and sent me in here.
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you?
No, there's nothing negative about the name Charon. I think I see where this is going.
You do? Well then, have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember, and see if you notice any patterns.
Well, I mean, I've already done that. You're being a bit coy.
I know. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you, too.
What happened? What did happen to Livia?
Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member of our little community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows, and told us we were ignorant of some pattern. Look, it could be unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill, or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the golden rule was too much for her. But there is a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you. So be careful, will you?
Look, it might be that Livia saw what humanity should not see and comprehended what humanity should not comprehend, and in that way lies madness. But we're different. I may have already noticed a pattern.
You have? Then what is it?
People mentioning a river and the being pulled out of it.
Yes. I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
People mentioning memory lapses after falling in a body of water, or some such.
That's true. I know I wasn't entirely sure how I wound up here. What else?
Some people mentioning an encounter with a stranger on the riverbank.
Yes, I also had such an encounter. It's as I feared. I think I understand what poor Livia has been going through. You mentioned earlier you met a young woman in the forest named Karen, yes?
I did.
I see. And was this Karen by any chance wearing a hood?
She was wearing a hoodie, but how could you have known that?
Because I've seen her before. There's something I think you should see. I think you'd better follow me to the baths.
All right, I'll meet you in the baths.
But don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
And we don't want anyone thinking that. Don't worry, I'll just run at a steady pace 7 meters behind you. Yeah, just let her go in first, so no one thinks there's any impropriety going on here. Is this a white hallway? I mean, it looks yellow, but that's probably because the light is yellow because it's fire. Like, it might be white, and it's kind of a hallway. Just in case, spoiler warning? I'm supposed to give you a spoiler warning when we see the white hallway. Splish splish. An ancient Roman mosaic depicting a godlike figure turning a man into gold. I don't suppose we can identify which god this is supposed to be. But it does look like it is a man. Fortunately for us, no one's taking a bath right now.
All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Karen. It was C-H-A-R-O-N, as in Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon, who in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
If I was holding a coffee mug, I'd drop it right now.
So sorry. I take it you know what this means.
This place is the underworld?
I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems None of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches.
Oh, okay.
I know it's a lot to take in.
Oh, she's just going to tell us that. All right.
So, I'll try to answer them if I can.
Well, I mean, now that we know which god is responsible for this, I guess we can go talk to that one guy who was asking us about it underground, if we could find him again. So we're dead?
That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know.
What can you tell me about Charon?
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman, or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin, an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks.
Why didn't you all recognize Charon immediately?
To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different guises. You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kerti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K sound. I suspect the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again.
I'm gonna have to climb my way back up. I took a long fall to get down here. Maybe we can find, like... Well, no. People who did that previously, who wanted to bring ladders to that hole, they got golded. So attempting to climb a ladder up there is a sin. You have to find another way out. Why are there so few people in the underworld? Like, you think there'd be a lot of people here, right? If you die, you come here, but I don't know. How many people have we met, really? Less than 20?
Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require a coin as payment for passage across the river. But that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need with coins? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not.
Well, Karen said that we just had loose change in our pockets. So, would there be anything special about the coins we had? Were you trying to keep this from me?
No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings, but I would never have figured it out without your help. I promise you.
I mean, you could have certainly just walked around asking people what their story is. Learn the same information. That's all the questions I had.
Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it, if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter. Orpheus, a Thracian poet. Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra, and Aeneas, a Trojan hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have two options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide.
Can't we just escape the way we came in?
It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no way to climb up the shaft. And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind by those who've tried.
I notice you seem uncomfortable calling the god of the underworld by his name. Why is that?
All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril.
Tell me more about confronting Pluto head-on.
Shh! Is everyone so blunt where you're from? Oh. That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod. Forgive my candor, but you are no Hercules.
Well, I mean, maybe if I start blasting my pecs, doing the reps, make big gain, make big gains. Well, Hercules couldn't manipulate time or turn organic matter into gold. I have a magic bow, I'll have you know.
Are you telling me that you can? I won't pretend to understand exactly what that means, but if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 4 plaques missing from its base. It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again.
All right, you put the crests into the depression, and that unlocks the door. We've played Resident Evil. We're familiar with this concept. What can you tell me about the obelisk?
It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize. That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque.
Where would I find the Roman plaque?
Good question. To answer that, we first need to ask who would have defaced the obelisk in the first place. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. And there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god. Theirs, of course. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface religious monuments whose existence challenged their beliefs. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, they've all been in hiding since the fire last year, so finding them won't be easy. But I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find that, you might be able to recover the Roman plaque.
All right, yeah, we were told, of course, about the secret Christian. The assassin made it quite clear. I think the only thing that we really know about the secret Christian is that he's heterochromia. So I guess we should be on the lookout for that. Where would I find the Greek plaque?
I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the forum.
Oh yeah, we know Georgius. He's our friend. Talk to him about that. Where would we find the Egyptian plaque?
Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, would be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago. But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room.
We did take a look in his room, I believe. We could ask Aurelia. Where would we find the mystery plaque?
I'm afraid you're on your own with that one, but perhaps finding the other three will illuminate the way.
Alright, well, let's talk about something else. Tell me more about escaping with the help of Proserpina or a guide.
As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, well, it's a grim tale. It's said the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage.
Well, that's horrible.
It is. The gods are a mirror image of mankind, as far as cruelty is concerned, I'm afraid. If the stories are true, I imagine she's as desperate to escape as we are. If she really did help Orpheus and Sisyphus, perhaps she'll help us too. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels?
I hear the female statues whispering to me every now and then.
Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Navia. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say?
It's always the same voice, and she's helpful, if a little cryptic.
Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps... Perhaps you're hearing the voice of Proserpina herself. If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out?
Nah, not really, not really.
Oh, I see. Well, let me know if you hear anything that might be a thread through this labyrinth.
All right, I guess I'm ready to get started.
All right. I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as possible. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone.
Let's see. Yeah, let's talk with Livia.
In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best begin. May Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
All right, just a question. Like, if we're here, taken here by Karen, that means we're dead, right? So if we, like, find a way out of here, are we still dead? Do we just get to go back to the land of the living if we just climb out of here? Or what, wait against the current? Gonna be wading through some water? Well, okay. There's plaques we need to find. We're going to talk to Livia first. But after that, I guess what we should do... Oh, wait, is this George's shop? No, this is a different shop, I think. Not the one I'm thinking about. But at some point, we should go up to the Great Temple overlooking the city. So we can take a look at that obelisk. The proprietor here is not in at the moment, I guess.
Isn't the Great Temple majestic?
Ah, well, I mean, I guess that's what. I guess that's it right there.
You look well, my sartorial friend.
Oh, hey, it's you. Do you know anything about a Greek plaque?
Hello again, my sartorial friend. What is on your mind?
Plaques, and lots of them.
And in a city full of Romans, you are asking me? Because I am Greek. Let me tell you something about Greeks and Romans. My name is Georgios, yes. But the Romans, they do not care. They hear me say Georgios, and they think, ah, he must mean Georgius. Good Roman name. They do this all the time. They see us worshipping Zeus, they copy us, but call him Jupiter. They take Hades, and call him Pluto, Persephone, Proserpina. I am flattered that they copy our ideas, but why must they change the names? Do they want credit for making it all up? Do they want to forget where it came from? At first, I pull my hair out. After a while, I give up, and I become Georgius the Roman. I accept the world is Roman now. Plus, I have no hair left to pull. But my point is this. If you want to know who stole an old Greek name, look no further than the sticky-fingered Romans. The plaque you seek was pilfered from a collection of old Greek relics by none other than Duli. He cannot help it. Like a typical Roman, he likes shiny things, especially those that once belonged to my people. And besides, it makes him happy. So I say, let him keep it. I believe he still has it with him, in his cell, just opposite the Temple of Demeter.
Oh, we just found out everything, didn't we? Thanks, I'll be going now.
I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Alright. Well, we're going to see Livia, but hey, we just found out where the Greek plaque is. All that needed was to talk to Yorios. I wonder if it would be faster to take the zip line. Or, I don't know. Maybe just faster to walk there. Hey, Livia.
49 Bellides fetch again, with incest just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world. So this place accepts all the souls, but it does not notice the crowds that come.
I don't know if it takes all the souls. It's really not many here. I figured it out. I know where we are.
Say it. Speak its name.
The underworld.
Then it is true. I was right.
You were.
I thought I saw it, but when the rest of them could not, I kept thinking I must have gone insane. I had to tell myself it was true over and over again, until I wasn't sure if I was deceiving myself. I must apologize if my words seemed cryptic. I'd found comfort in reciting the Metamorphoses by our great poet Ovid. He gives such an uncanny description of this place. I cannot help but wonder if he himself came here. Would you like to hear it?
Lay it on me, Livia.
I will do my best to remember the relevant verse. There is a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions. The sluggish Styx exhales vapor, and by that way, the shadows of the newly dead descend, entombed with full rites, and the ghosts of those, at last, given proper burial. The wide, thorny waste is cold and pallid, and the newly arrived shades are ignorant of the road that leads to the Stygian city, where Black Dis has his cruel palace. As the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls, and is never too small for any populace, nor notices the crowds that come. There the bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd the forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths. Others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives. And still others incur punishment. I hope I have done it justice, and now we share a secret. It's as if you've lifted a great burden from my shoulders. Thank you, friend. I think I should rest.
Alright, well, I'm glad you're feeling better. We talked to her about doing the thing. Lead resolved.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
A big long bow.
It turns people into gold.
Back again. Couldn't stay away, huh?
I'm looking for Kabash. Have you seen him?
Not for a few weeks now. Last time I saw him, he was sitting at a table with Georgius, whispering about some job. I remember because they kept looking over their shoulders as if they didn't want anyone else to know. So, naturally, I hovered. The one word I kept hearing was vanishing, and then, the next day, Kabash just disappeared. Coincidence? I think not.
Man, you're going to town on that goblet. I mean, it's probably clean by now.
All right, see ya.
Be careful. Like, the gods might consider that to be like assault on that goblet. Might be a sin. There were some...
Love your clothes. So exotic.
Thank you. There were some people here when I started talking to her. It appears that they're gone now.
You stay away from my money.
Large fat for brewing beer. There's a beer, a layer of small insects drowning on the surface. That gives it flavor. Well, I came down here to Livia. Let's head back up. Am I overhearing people? I don't see anyone nearby. Uh-oh, looks like Malurius won the election. Will we start sinning immediately? I can hear them, but don't see where they are. Well, the magistrate believed that the only thing that was keeping us from sin was the strict adherence to Roman law. Is that the case, or will it turn out? Oh, right, we hold on. Can we use the bow on this? Okay, here we go. trespassing isn't a sin. All right, there's like a cavern under this pool. All right, what's in here? Note from Ulfius. Ulfius laments his lost love. Ulfius to his lost love, may God watch over you. Please know that I held on as long as I could, but without you, my life is meaningless. I only hope we meet again in Gan Eden. Do I suspect Malorius? I don't know why that quest option just came up there. Julia to her captors, Malleus and Claudia curse you to the depths. By the time you read this, I'll already be dead, because death is preferable to another day in debt bondage to you. May vultures peck out your livers in Tartarus for all eternity. Suicide. Did someone commit suicide? Wouldn't that have been a sin? Is it possible to commit suicide here?
The
What?
many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Uh-oh. Who sinned? All right, who did that? Look, it's important to me to know who is sinning. I need it for my list. And this is no good. Look, one of the important things we need to know is what sins are. Like, we know that killing someone is a sin. We know that stealing is a sin. Can I jump out that way? Nope, I'm burning myself. But I don't know what just happened. I don't know what just happened to activate this. The thing that bothers me is not that someone sinned, it's that we won't know now. We won't know what it was. It'll be a mystery as to what the sin was. But maybe next time we should hang out. We'll try to find out where the election is and try to hang out by there, so we can observe the sin, observe real-time sinning.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and what you're doing with that bow on your back?
I might say, and I need you to take care of some things urgently.
Oh, sounds serious. I'm listening.
I need you to stop Fabia entering the empty shrine and tell the new arrival he'll find what he's looking for in there. He'll threaten to kill you, but it's fine. It'll be fine.
All right, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. Understood.
That's it. Now go! As fast as you can.
I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
Alright, we're sending him off to just handle that.
Ah, you're here. I'm so glad you decided to visit. I'm Aurelia,
I know.
and I hope I'm not being too forward, but the moment I laid eyes on you, I was intrigued. There's something dangerous about you, like a prowling manticore.
Is that hot? Go on, I guess.
What was that? Some kind of joke? If it was, it wasn't funny. I take back what I said.
Sisyphus,
Suddenly, I
attack
don't
or
find you so
pursue the
intriguing
stone
anymore.
that
Let's just
always
forget that ever happened,
returns.
so we can at least do business. So, what brings you to my tavern?
I guess we have nothing else to talk about right now.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing we should find out.
Cerberus lifts his triple head and lets out his threefold.
That's not a sin? Oh no, it is a sin.
Suffer for the sins of the one.
See, that was a sin. Just had to check. We need to update our sin information. The more information we find about what sins are, the better.
Salve, friend. All right. I'll...
So it's not a sin to harm or inflict pain on golden statues. It is a sin to turn someone into a golden statue.
Cannot catch the drop.
So we're getting a little bit of elaboration. I did not do it, says Dooley. Well, Dooley's someone that we want to talk to.
Hello? Hello?
Hey, about that Greek plaque in your cell.
Do you like it? It's shiny, innit? It makes me happy just looking at it.
May I have it?
But if I gave it to you, then I wouldn't have it anymore, and I'd be sad.
I need it for something really important.
But it's mine, and I really like it. I want to keep it.
All right. What's it going to take for you to give it to me?
Well, if you get me out of here, then I wouldn't need it anymore because I'd already be happy. And you'd be happy too.
Don't worry about that, Dooley. Just a little problem being taken care of. Let's talk to the magistrate about getting you out of here.
Galerius already tried that. He said the magistrate wouldn't listen, no matter what.
Then maybe it's time we had a new magistrate.
Like, Galerius? He's nice. I like Galerius. He made me a doll and everything.
So all I need to do is persuade everyone to vote for Galerius.
Yeah, Galerius will let me out. Then you can have my plaque and everyone will be happy.
Well, that seems like a lot of work to get this plaque, but okay. What's your story, by the way, Dooley?
My name's Dooley. I live here now because I got in trouble and they said they had to lock me up.
What did you do?
I don't know. I don't remember things so good. I think it's just because I was looking for treasure.
Did someone think you're going to steal?
Yes. But I wasn't. I was just looking.
Is that all, Dooley?
They said I did it. More than once. But I can't remember things so good. Then they called me mean names. They called me a liar, Billy.
Oh no. A liability?
Yes. They said I have to live here now, and gave me this letter. But I'm not good with words. Do you think you could read it for me?
Let's see. Magistrate Sentius to do this. I am writing to you in relation to your incorrigible antisocial behavior arising from your obsession with an alleged lost treasure. While I am sympathetic to your plight and the passing of your guardian Hannibal some weeks ago, I wish to impress upon you that an important message. The treasure you seek does not exist. Given your memory limitations, it seems likely you simply misremembered. More importantly, since you have on several occasions been caught trespassing, including around the cisterns, which are strictly off-limits to all citizens, I have reluctantly come to the conclusion that you are a liability to this community, and must have your freedom limited, lest you break the golden rule. It is my hope that this letter will help assist you to remember while you were incarcerated, should you experience further lapses in memory.
What does it say?
It says they caught you trespassing several times, and they locked you up to stop you breaking the golden rule.
My treasure.
What treasure?
My friend Hannibal used to look after me. He said he always would. But then, he died. It was very sad. He said if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find it. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns, but when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me, except my friend Galerius and the priestess lady. She's a nice lady.
If you give me that key, I can try to find out what it unlocks.
Hannibal said I shouldn't give it to anyone I didn't trust. But maybe you could help me get out of here. Then I would trust you a lot.
Let me talk to the magistrate about getting you out of here.
Galerius already tried that. He said the magistrate wouldn't listen, no matter what.
Maybe I'll just break you out.
What about the rules? I don't want everyone to get in trouble because I was bad.
Maybe it's time we had a new magistrate.
Like,
Yeah, you already know about Galerius.
you help Hannibal.
I'll get right on it.
Bye-bye.
Get Dooley's key to the upper cistern by releasing him from prison. Oh, there's the plaque in there. Yep. There's our guy. So, we still do have our gold bow from the previous timeline. But I guess we can also take the wood bow. Beware, shrine may collapse at any moment. It's a good thing that warning was there. Well,
that Promethean fire's not for sale.
okay, so we're in a different timeline, so I guess I can't actually confront him about him leaving us in there, because he never did.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Now, aren't you glad you're not dead?
Salve and welcome. Need something?
Yeah, the only time we ever talked to her was when she was telling us about the assassin. We haven't had an actual conversation with her. What's your story?
there's not much to tell. I mostly just bake bread and try to help out where I can.
How'd you end up here?
I suppose it all started about 8 months ago. I was living in Rome with my family when I got sick. Terrible timing. My pa had just arranged a husband for me, a fisherman's son. I was about to meet him for the first time when I came down with an awful fever. I spent the next week in bed. Pa paid priests to make offerings to Asclepius, a white rooster, then a goat. But nothing worked. In the end, they decided I'd do better outside the city. Clean air in the countryside would do me good, they said. But after about a day in a carriage on the Appian Way, I was getting worse, not better. I remember closing my eyes for a bit, and I guess I must have fell asleep, because when I opened them again, I was in a forest by a river. I suppose the driver took off with his fee and left me for dead. Can't say I blame him. I wouldn't have wanted to catch what I had either. Anyway, I went searching for help, stumbled across the trapdoor temple, and here I am.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
It's nice of you to say, but you should save your sympathy. Lots of people here need it more than I do.
You know a way out of here?
What? You've been here a few moments and you're desperate to get out already? Why not give the place a chance before you try to leave? Good people here. Galerius works hard on the farm so I can put food on our tables, and Lucretia tries to keep us healthy. My friend Georgius is always mending our clothes, and Virgil makes sure these old walls don't fall down around us. Well, he does his best. I'm just saying, there are worse places you could live out your days.
I don't belong here.
Well, I can tell from your funny accent you're not from around here, but that doesn't mean you don't belong, does it?
What do you think about the golden rule?
Oh, I try not to worry about it. I mean, if people are nice to each other, we won't have anything to worry about, will we?
Have you met people?
You're funny. I'll bet my friend Georgius will like you. And those interesting clothes of yours. And I'm sure he'd love to chatter about the golden rule with you too. He'll be just across the forum in his shop.
Well, I'll be going now.
All right. Thanks again for taking care of our problem. I won't forget it.
Yeah, that problem is, I don't think he's gonna be moving. Hey.
Greetings and salutations. Greetings, I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I.
I know. You want to know where I'm from, but I really want to ask you some questions.
My friend, your words intrigue me more and more. But yes, very well. Ask me what you will.
Yes, we were told that he had been speaking with Kabish before he vanished. I'm looking for Kabish, and I heard you were one of the last people to see him.
Ah, I knew this day would come. I do not wish to lie to you, my friend, but even discussing this matter is dangerous. Please, let us leave the live coals safely beneath us.
You can trust me. We foreigners have to stick together, remember? Fuck the Romans!
Very well, but the magistrate would not look kindly upon this, so please keep it to yourself.
For several months now, I have been sneaking out at night to worship the gods of my ancestors in the temple of Demeter. Each day, I leave offerings of food in the hope that we may have a bountiful harvest, and yet the next day when I return, the food is missing.
Well, how is that a problem?
The offering, it is symbolic, you see. It is never eaten, so I ask, who or what is devouring the food in this temple? Stranger still. Once I sat in front of my shop like the 100-eyed Argus until dawn to see if I could spot a thief going in. But do you know what I saw?
Someone who'd been drinking?
Nothing. Nobody entered. And yet when I went to take a look, my offering was gone. It is bizarre, is it not? When I told my friend Kabash of this at the tavern, he offered to help investigate. He went in, and to my dismay, he was never seen again.
Well, where is the Temple of Demeter, by the way?
It is the only Greek temple in the city. Head towards the baths, and it is the last building on your right.
I'm off to the Temple of Demeter, then.
I do not think you should pursue this, my friend. It would break my heart to be responsible for 2 people disappearing. But you do not strike me as a kind of person to be deterred by such warnings, so just be careful, I beg you.
Okay. Well, sounds like we... Oh, it's you. You know, we do know the cure for rheumatism now.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step.
Any idea where I'd find a Roman plaque, Rufius?
No idea what you're talking about.
I think you're lying.
And I think you're an imbecile if you think that's going to work on me.
Very well. I guess you're not interested in a cure for rheumatism. Doesn't that? I'm pretty sure he isn't. I'm pretty sure he's not interested in that.
Ave.
Ave. Hey.
You're allowed a weapon and I'm not.
Let's talk plaques.
Malleolus isn't receiving visitors at the moment, it being election day.
I can't ask him about plaques.
Whatever. Just remember, I'll be watching. Hey Horatius, how's it feel knowing your man's doomed to lose the election today?
If you're trying to goad me into an argument, it won't work. I'm a stoic, remember?
If the old man couldn't even keep his own daughter safe, how can anyone trust him to keep us safe, eh?
Why do I get the feeling you lot had something to do with Centilla's disappearance?
That's it. Blame everyone but yourself.
If I find out you did something to that poor sweet girl, not even the Golden Rule is gonna protect you. Got it?
As if I'll be afraid of you, little man.
What is it, citizen?
Okay, can't talk to him about Roman plaques either.
Ugh, this place has become a thoroughfare.
I'm just going to step on this and ask you about plaques.
Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
Can't ask her about plaques. What do you think about the Golden Rule?
You know, some people say it's the creation of an all-seeing God who's watching everything we do. But what kind of an awful, incompetent God would let my sister go missing on his or her watch?
It's a fair question.
Did you hear that? Curse you, you coward! Where is my sister? What do you have to say for yourself? No response. Nothing. That's what I thought.
Well, at least you know blasphemy doesn't break the Golden Rule.
I'm telling you, this mysterious god of ours has to be asleep on the job. Either that, or, like people are saying, it really is just a children's fable my father is exploiting to frighten us into behaving.
Oh no, I have inside knowledge on it being real.
Oh, and I suppose I'll just have to take the word of a know-nothing barbarian who just arrived, will I?
I'll be going now.
I trust you can see yourself out.
Let's head upstairs before we leave.
Leave before I call Horatius.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
We've had this conversation. Someone's about to break the Golden Rule. Culprit had this conversation too.
Seems rather
I'd like you to release Dooley.
You mean Duilius? Releasing him is out of the question, I'm afraid. That man is a liability we simply cannot afford. Perhaps you're not aware he was caught multiple times, sneaking around in places he should not have been.
What exactly did he do?
Look, I can see where you're going with this. You think me cruel. I assure you that is not the case. You may not be aware of this, but it was not so long ago, during the Republic, the law of the 12 tables would have required that he be killed as soon as he was born, owing to his deformities. Here we see to it that he has food, water, and shelter, and most importantly, he is able to continue living. A privilege that would be taken away from all of us were he to be released and commit the crime of trespass. The man has no self-discipline, poor comprehension of what is going on around him, and is an incorrigible rule breaker. I will not jeopardize the lives of my people so that one man can go free. Now, was there something else?
Well, can we talk about who's going to break the golden rule?
Of course. What is it?
I think I know who it is.
Yes.
What would you say if it was Malaleus?
Why do you say that?
When he went... Oh, okay, so this is... So I did not actually hear this dialogue. When he wins the election, he's going to convict you of treason and sentence you to death. I guess it was the death of Sentius, or... Well, no, Sentius would have had to have been alive in order to create the time portal. So was it just the conviction that broke the golden rule? Like, is a false conviction... Is that something that will break the golden rule?
What? That's... I'm speechless. How do you know? Of course, this isn't your first loop, is it? Well then, you must stop him from winning the election. I expect you'll need some kind of leverage on him, but I can't be seen to be involved in this, of course, so you'll be on your own. You'd better not waste any time, and Meswada, goddess of persuasion, go with you.
I'll get right on it.
Good, thank you. If you're snooping around in my possessions, you're wasting your time.
But I like this. I like to snoop. I like to snoop in people's possessions. It's what I do. All right. Well, maybe I guess we can probably add false convictions. We can add that to what is a sin.
How come you're allowed a weapon and I'm not?
Because I'm special.
You're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you?
I was absolutely thinking about going into the cistern. Yes.
Nobody's told you about Hannibal. Ugh, why do I have to do everything round here? One day, a few wits said he could... Anyway...
Well, I mean, now we know that Hannibal has a relation to Dooley. He was Dooley's guardian.
Good idea.
Okay, we do have both regular bow and golden bow. Well, I guess that if we wanted to look around the sewers more, you know, we can do so at our leisure. And also there's this. This is the creative way into the upper cistern. right up there. There we go. Oh. Hello?
You? Who are you? Did he send you?
I might say, and nobody sent me.
Do you know you're here? You have to help me escape before that monster comes back.
What's going on here?
I'm Scintilla. I found a way out through the Gate of Horn, but it's locked. So I told him about it, and instead of helping me escape, he locked me up. He wants to keep us all here forever, or until we're turned to gold. He's a monster. You have to let me go so we can kill him and take his key.
Well, who did this?
Sentius, my adoptive father. Furies help me. I'll castrate and crucify him.
Oh, it was Sentius all along? How hasn't this broken the golden rule?
I don't know. He said the gods are on his side because they don't want us to escape either.
Where's the way out?
Behind me. There's an aqueduct tunnel bringing water from outside the city, so it should lead us outside. The only problem is it's barred by a heavy locked gate, and he has the only key.
What will you do if I release you?
I'm going to take that key from around his neck, even if it means cutting his throat to get it. I'm done caring about the golden rule. I just want out. Help me, and we can escape together.
What about the others?
There won't be enough time. Just you and me. What do you say?
If I let you go, everyone else is gonna die. But if I round everyone up so they're ready to escape once the golden rule is broken, let's get out together.
Oh, thank you. Now follow. Wait. Did you hear that? He's here. He must be coming in through the door behind me. You distract him. Stay right here and keep him talking while I look for something I can use.
I have a bow.
What did you do with Scintilla? Where is she?
She said that she's looking for something she can use. I'm not sure what that means. As if I tell you.
So that is how it's going to be. Oh well, this doesn't change anything for me. It's a shame, really. If you'd just done what you were supposed to, you'd have been looping through time forever until you gave up and killed yourself. Just like that soft-hearted pleb, Al.
He knows about Al. You remember Al?
Come now. Surely you didn't think you were the only one here who remembered everything.
I don't know why you say surely.
My connection to the portal somehow preserves my memories from one loop to the next. Whether that was Proserpina's intention or a happy accident, I'll never know. But I'm surprised you hadn't noticed. Here I was thinking you're a little bit sharper than Al was. Or perhaps you're just more willing to break the rules. He was a moralistic fellow, never once compromised on his principles. And because of that fatal flaw, he relived this day many thousands of times before we finally had this conversation. I watched him come through the portal each time, always a little older, a little more disheveled, a little more haunted. And when he finally saw the futility of it all, as you're about to, it broke him. He drank a jug of wine, tied a noose around his neck, and took his own life, just before he was shot with a golden arrow. The next time I awoke, you showed up, but you've caught up to where he was so quickly. I'd have preferred if you'd given me more time to enjoy the trappings of my success. How many extra days did you give me? Just the 2? Not many. But don't worry, I'm sure there'll be another useful idiot who comes along after you're dead. In any case, there's no escape for you except the path that Al took, the path he wrote about on his tablet. What was it? Ah, yes. Better to end it all now than find out what awaits you beyond that portal. So, you discovered my secret. So what?
Oh.
What are you going to do about it?
I know it's supposed to be a dramatic scene. The animations in this game are hilarious. Just something I'm wondering as he's going through his dialogue. If he remembers everything, wouldn't the same day being repeated thousands of times bother him too? Like, he seems to be okay with all of this, but he's like, yeah, I'm fine with just the same day. Constantly repeating and me dying at the end of each day, only to do it again. I'm okay with that. So you asked me to figure out who's going to break the golden rule, knowing it'd fail every time. You knew there was a way out and locked up your own daughter to keep it a secret. You're going to die a painful death. Yeah, why do you not want to get out?
Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I have grown attached to all this. My title, my beautiful villa, the sun on my face, the music of birds chirping. And as long as this day keeps repeating itself, I get to enjoy it all, over and over again, for eternity. Don't you see? I have found a way to prolong my life indefinitely, to cheat death. I have become, in effect, as immortal as the gods. Can you honestly say you would not wish the same for yourself?
I'm trying to think about how many games I have in my Steam library. I guess it'd take me a while to go through all of them, I guess. Well, it is nice here in this town. Like, it is very pretty. Like, if you're thinking about what the underworld is like, this seems okay. But I mean, like, maybe that's only the case if, you know, you have a position of wealth and power like him. I guess just doesn't bother him to have to... But it seems like he dies pretty horribly at the end of the day. Like, when we find him at the end of the day, he's just a skeleton. I don't know what exactly he goes through when he dies like that, but you wouldn't think it's pleasant. Well, you asked me to figure out who was going to break the golden rule, knowing I would fail every time.
Of course. There's no way you could have succeeded. Every soul who has ever found themselves here has broken the golden rule eventually. It is inevitable. Man will always sin sooner or later. Any idiot could tell you this, but where others might see tragedy, I saw opportunity. As I told you the first time we met, I found a way to cheat death by reliving the same day over and over again forever. And I will continue living long after your dust.
Let's see you cheat your way out of this.
Do you really think you can take on a Decurion with that flimsy little bow?
I mean, even if it was just the normal bow, his face is exposed. Like, assuming we're a good enough shot, I don't see what the problem is. I probably could, but I'm gonna let her have this one.
Who? Scintilla? Where is she?
I'm right here, Father.
Oh, wow. What?
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Come on, we have to go.
Well.
Hey, what's happening to you? That light, it's so bright.
We created a time paradox. Wow, he went up like paper. Oh. Oh, hi, Al.
Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fray. Thought I was in here alone. I'm Al.
Al Worth? I came in here to find you.
Well, here I am. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
I say. I was hoping you know who I am.
Funny you should ask. I was just reading an old tablet I found here. Well, trying. My Latin is kinda rusty, but the last entry mentioned someone with the same name. It described an event about 2,000 years ago. Someone with your name appeared in the city out of the shrine of Proserpina. Freed an imprisoned woman named Scintilla, who then murdered her captor, breaking some kind of ancient law. It said the attack caused golden statues to come alive, hunting down everyone in the city and turning them into gold. Apparently, the only person to survive was Scintilla, while the stranger disappeared in a flash of light.
Actually, that was me.
What? You're saying you were here 2,000 years ago? I'm not sure I understand.
Well, when I first arrived here in the present day, I found your corpse hanging from a noose, and you were also gold.
I'm sorry, come again?
Which part of that didn't you understand? Look, I still have your suicide note that you carved into this tablet. Here you go.
Let me see that. God, why does this writing look so familiar? I've spent a lifetime in this place going around and around in circles. This is disturbing. But I don't understand how I could have written it.
It was written by a different version of you. I changed the past, and so changed your fate.
I'm not following.
I helped Scintilla kill the man who opened a time portal and drew you back in time, preventing it from ever happening, even though he opened the time portal before the point where I killed him. And then, like, your entire lifetime, all those thousands of days, and your death happened before that as well. I'm not sure how it's a time paradox. Well, I mean, okay, maybe it's a time paradox if when we appeared in the city was at the same point that Al would have appeared. So Al was never there because he was in previous time loops. So when we went there, it wasn't after Al was there. It was at the same time when Al would have been there. I guess that's what the time paradox is that... Well, yeah, okay, but yeah, Sentius remembering Al doesn't mean that Al was already there. It just means that Al was there in thousands of previous time loops.
So you're saying, because a man from 2,000 years ago is dead, he never created a time portal, so I never went through it, and that's why I don't remember any of this.
Yo, now you're getting it.
I guess you saved my life then, as well as helping that poor woman to escape. That's a lot to take in.
But a strange thing about this game is that it never goes further with the time paradox idea, is that you never went back in time, but then I didn't either, so Sentius is still alive. Like, it never goes that one step further. Enough talk. How about we get out of this place?
Maybe we can escape through the same aqueduct Scintilla used, if we can find it.
It's right here in this cistern. Follow me. There he comes. He's a-coming. Al? Well, I guess he'll catch up.
I'm gonna pause here for a moment and make sure nobody else has ever lured into this temple.
Good idea.
You go on ahead, and I'll be there soon.
Yep, that'll make sure no one gets in there.
You go on ahead, and I'll be there soon.
Put a sternly worded sign up on the door. Keep out. Time portal inside. I'll make sure no one goes in there. What a beautiful day. Hey, Karen.
You're back. But you're alone. Does that mean you didn't find Al?
I found him. He'll be here in a moment.
Oh, what a relief. Thank you so much. I was beginning to think you'd both become trapped in there. Why don't you tell me what you discovered while we wait?
Well, I discovered your real name is Charon. You got like a little dragonfly. Okay, the dragonfly's gone now. I discovered your real name is Charon.
Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions.
Who are you? Didn't we just answer that? We just answered who she is really.
You can just call me Carol, if you like. I am sorry I was not completely honest with you when we first met. I do not enjoy deceiving people. Believe me, I do not. But I have learned, from 5,000 years of experience, that most people find comfort in familiarity, in gradual change, and coming to see the truth in their own time.
And what truth is that?
That you died, of course. You were dead when I brought you here. My role, as the servant of the god of the underworld, has always been to assist the chosen to cross the threshold from the land of the living to the land of the dead.
How did I die?
Usually, when people do not remember how they died, it is because they suffered a terrible trauma. Most souls would rather not remember. Ask yourself honestly, do you really want to know?
Yeah, of course I want to know. It's kind of like an important event in my life.
As you wish. You were murdered. You were falsely accused of a terrible crime, and fled into the wild to evade your accusers. On your final night, you were offered sanctuary in the cottage of a stranger who gave you food and money, including, by accident, a coin of ancient origin. Unfortunately, you were apprehended and attacked by authorities. Your host leapt to your aid. You both fought bravely, but your assailants were armed, and you were not. There was nothing you or your ally could have done. He died instantly at the scene, and you followed a few hours later. That man's name was Al Worth. You were each in possession of a sacred coin, called Charon's Opal by some, and so it was my duty to bring you here.
Were my final words, defund the police? What's so special about these coins?
Perhaps you have heard the tales of the Greeks and Romans burying their dead with a coin in their mouths to pay the ferrymen for passage across the river. Well, those stories contained a seed of truth, but not any coin would do. A long time ago, my master created 1,000 silver coins and had me distribute them across the world. My orders were simple. Whenever a person died in possession of a coin, I was to locate them and ferry them here.
Why? Why do that?
That is a question you would have to ask him, if that were still possible, in light of the path you have chosen. I am just his servant, doing his bidding. Only now, I find myself bereft of purpose. You see, the coins on you and Al were the last of the 1,000 in existence. There is nobody else to ferry here, nobody to keep you company. After 5,000 years, the underworld has finally run its course.
Well, can you return us to the land of the living? Yeah?
I see no point in keeping you here. But I have to ask one thing. That you keep this to yourself.
Look! Here comes Al now.
What, Al can't know about this?
It's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe what we found. The ruins of a long-forgotten city. and there was a tablet describing an event 2,000 years ago. Supposedly, the city was destroyed when a woman murdered a tyrant with the help of, well, my new friend here. I know how crazy that sounds.
Maybe not that crazy. That woman. I don't suppose her name was Scintilla?
How could you... What?
She left a tablet of her own. I stumbled across it while I was waiting here. I think she meant for you to read it. Here, take a look.
You're just carrying that in your pants?
Or if you'll ever read this. But I want you to know that I will never forget you. Or what you did for me. It pains me that so many dear friends were not so fortunate. Ulpius, Sentia, Lucretia, Horatius, Galerius, poor Dooley, and the others. But please understand, their blood is on my hands, not yours. I will live with the consequences of my actions, and all I can do is move forward, trying to show others the same compassion you showed me. I promise you that saving my life will not be for nothing. Scintilla.
Sounds like you meant a lot to her. I'd love to hear your story, but first, you two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat and rest while I ferry you back to civilization?
Sounds good to me.
And you? Are you ready to go home?
Can we? That's the question I was asking before. Like, if we died, can we just go back? All right, Karen, ferry us home. I guess Karen's doing us a favor. We got ending 2 out of 4. How many might have survived if I had confronted the god of the underworld? Who can say? So we finished the game. Well, we got an ending out of 4. That was surprising that we just ran into an ending right there. There were some quests that it looked like that we were lining up. I just happened to go into the cistern for the purpose of shooting an arrow into the guy down there. Didn't really know what else we might look for, and then it turned out, oh, there's vines. I guess we'll shoot the vines. And then that's where the ending was. The ending was up there. Unexpected. I guess that was the reason to do the quest where we get that golden bow. Like, the ultimate purpose, I suppose, or at least the main purpose that we've seen so far, is getting this ending. Because if we didn't do that quest, we would not have been able to hit that ending. So that's what that was for. There was also another purpose that showed itself, that we were able to get into Malaleus' house and discover evidence of his crimes. We died before we could do anything with that. So I guess there is another reason to get that golden bow. So we got ending 2 out of 4. And it looks like Pluto just wanted his coins back. So, does that mean that all the coins have been returned? There's no underworld at all now? It's run its course, it's served its purpose? What happens to when people die just in general? Well, they don't come here. Karen doesn't bother with those people. Still, we did meet Al. We got Al out of there. And isn't that what counts? I didn't really make that much of a connection to any of the residents of the village. But Al. That guy. Glad that we got Al out of there. Well, and that is the Forgotten City, at the very least, one ending from it. Here's a continue option. What if we completed the game? What happens if we click continue? No, it starts us from here again. No, that's locked, so we can't go in there. I guess probably would be locked from the other. We wouldn't be able to access. Well, maybe if we got in here without using the vines method, maybe we would be able to. Maybe that's how we would have gotten in here in that case. Maybe that's what it would have been.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
So, I guess that's it, at least for now, for the Forgotten City. Yeah, we got out of the city. We rescued Al, and we confirmed that Karen is Karen. There goes Sentius. As you can see, he's running 173 meters away. Wonder how long it would take any statues to get here. Like, could any statues get here? Seemed like it would be difficult for any of them to find their way here. Doesn't seem like I can kick her. No, I'm not getting the kick option. Well, okay. That's the Forgotten City. We found a gold bow, found some vines, put 2 and 2 together. We can climb those vines. And discovered what happened to the missing daughter